What is up, everybody? Welcome, Admirals. We have a very special Admiral on the Scevoli show tonight, guys. Guys, you might hear his voice. I hear his voice in my sleep, and that's pretty weird, but it's all right. It's a Star Wars book. We love Star Wars, guys. Welcome back to the Scevoli show, guys, with a very special guest, the voice. Not the voice, but I can say, you know what? I can say the voice. I'm going to say that. I can say it. The voice of Star Wars books. Thrawn books, which are my favorite books, because, you know, we support Grand Admiral Thrawn in this show. We love Thrawn. But we have Marc Thompson, ladies and gentlemen. How are you, Marc Thompson?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
I didn't know where I was going with that voiceless thing, because I was like, the voice is not here. But I was I want to,
the voices.
You know,
There's
he's one of them. You know, he's in Thrawn's mind, so like we gotta say he's in there. But how are you, Marc? How's everything?
I'm doing really well. I've been having a fun summer and just moved recently and kind of getting settled in there, and I'm having a great time.
Oh, that's good. And you're going to cons, I see. Moving on up, Marc. Moving on up.
I am. I've been going to a bunch of conventions. Yeah.
Glad you're gonna have fun.
I actually was just at a. I was just at a convention a month ago, and I got to be at a convention with Timothy Zahn and Lars Mikkelsen, and that was like a major moment for me. It was really exciting.
Marc, I would have I can't say the word on the show, but I would have went number 2. Like I would have just it would have just been you know, done. Like, can I ask you that? How was meeting Lars? I was wanting to ask you that too before we started, but I'm going to ask you on the show. But how was that meeting Lars?
It was super
the creator
exciting
of Thrawn, Timothy.
Yeah, I was so excited because, like, I was a big fan of Ahsoka, the show, and Rebels, and so I think he's done an amazing job as Thrawn, and I couldn't wait to meet him. And it was part of a charity event, so we were at like a children's hospital. And I had kind of dressed up with a bunch of I do some stuff for Pokemon, and I was wearing kind of a Pokemon shirt because I thought the kids would be more familiar with my work from Pokemon. So we're in this hospital and we're taking a picture with this kid, and Lars, came in, and the person taking the photo was like, "Hey kid, you're lucky. You're getting a photo with 2 Thrawns." And all of a sudden, Lars, all of a sudden a light bulb went out. It was like, "No, Marc, is that you, Marc? Are you?" I was like, yeah. And it's like, because he didn't know that's, what I had done or whatever. So then we got to chatting, and he was, I was kind of joking around with people that obviously he's an amazing actor. Yes. But after meeting him in person, I was like, he's a really good actor, because I was expecting him to be more kind of stoic and cold like he is on the show. And he was so warm and so friendly, and it was like, oh wow, so. But it was a huge honor, and I got to be there the moment that Tim had met him for the first time. We were on our way to a photo opportunity, and I witnessed the moment that they met for the first time, and so I was kind of honored to be in the room. Very excited.
I would have died and came back to life, Marc.
Yeah.
That would have been insane. That's the Voices Against Cancer, right? What you did? Voices Against Cancer?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have good stuff. I hope they do another con with 3 of you guys, like New York or Rhode Island we were talking about. Another con with big 3 Thrawns, because I would love to meet Lars. He's one of my ultimate favorite people in the world that I want to meet, because I met Ashley Eckstein, Ahsoka, of course. Matt, I've met. I haven't met James yet. I haven't. D. Bradley Baker, I met in New York.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, he's really awesome.
He seems awesome.
Yes, D. Bradley Baker. He's so small too. He's adorable.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's so small. He's adorable.
It was funny when I was talking with Lars. He mentioned that he actually does audiobooks in Denmark, and we were kind of comparing, process, notes or whatever. But I was like, oh no way! It's it was really interesting to hear that he does that as well.
Oh wow! Now does he with the audiobooks? He does the voice of Thrawn, because I was like, when I'm listening to the books, I hear his voice. Is that him recording the lines to the book, or that's someone else?
In the Thrawn audiobooks?
In the Thrawn, yeah.
Oh no, that's me. That's me doing.
Oh no, I know, but you do his lines too when he like says like Thrawn like when Thrawn
Yeah,
says like just say may the force be with you. That's your voice?
yeah. I do all the characters, like including Thrawn. I do anybody that speaks in the audiobook is me.
Oh my
So,
Mark. I
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
know that. I'm
Oh
freaking
yeah,
out.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
insane. So that's your voice. That's not Thrawn's voice. That's not Lars.
No, that's not Lars. That's me doing my best, impersonation of Lars. So yeah.
Mark. Come on. That is,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it. Sorry guys. Fucking incredible. Because that's amazing. All this time I was like, I
Yeah.
gotta ask him. How does it like? Because I was gonna ask you one of the questions, but it didn't get approved. But like, does you do the voice? Like, who does the
Yeah.
voices? And I'm thinking it's like Lars because it is so spot on. Wow.
Oh, cool.
Mark, come on now.
Yeah,
That's
that's cool.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
it's fun. It's like January Lavoie, who's another amazing narrator, kind of talks about like audiobooks in general. And one of the things that she points out is that's unique to audiobooks is that it is this like idea of it's almost like a one-person show. And like, there's a time where they do like sometimes they do multi-cast recordings and those are great because you're hearing multiple actors and stuff like that. But something special about sometimes you go to a one-person show because that's part of the appeal is kind of hearing, this one actor trying to, embody all the characters. And so the Star Wars audiobooks are like that. Like they're kind of one-person shows and it's really cool.
That is amazing because I was like, I'm listening to the books, and I know you do I know you're the voice of the books, but I'm like, when it cuts to Arlani or Thrawn, I'm like,
Yeah.
these voices are amazing. Like when you listen to Arlani, I was like, I need that voice when she becomes live action or she comes animation. It's just such a good
Yeah.
voice. And then when Thrawn speaks, it's like Lars, and I'm like listening to it. I'm like, when you listen to these books, you want to hear the voice, the actual person that does it. So I didn't know
Right.
you did all the voices in.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Thrawn,
That's funny that you didn't know.
You did, yeah. That's incredible. I know you read the books, but I didn't know you actually did like when Thrawn goes up and Thrawn is having a conversation with Arlani. Like you're like, oh, they're actually two different people talking. They're like Lars and whoever plays Arlani. That is a Mark.
Yeah.
Incredible. So going
cool.
back to that, what is it like? So my first question is, what is it like doing different voices? Like you do Thrawn, now Arlani, Yoda, and Vader. How do you do that? Like that's incredible.
Thank you. I think I was a bit of a mimic growing up, and I kind of watched a lot of TV, and I would kind of also, I would watch the Muppets and hear Kermit and be like, oh, hi ho, I'm Kermit the Frog, and like try to lock into stuff. And so for established characters, I try to listen to as much. So like I actually did a version of Thrawn before he was on Rebels that was a little bit different. And then when Rebels came out and they wanted to do a trilogy of books that kind of told the backstory or not the backstory, but the kind of, what Thrawn is doing and expanding that story during that time period. I was able to listen a lot to him on Rebels and, Calicori, bring them to me, Grand Admiral. And I was able to kind of key into some of his cadence and mannerisms and things like that. So I'll listen a ton and I'll try to, do my best job to emulate it. And then a lot of times I'll record samples of character voices on my phone. And when we're getting ready to record, I'll maybe play a little sample back to me to kind of get in the zone for that. So it's a lot of practice and just kind of, parroting stuff back and forth, I guess.
Mark, come on, man. You're like, I was fangirling before we started the show. Now I'm even more fangirling. Come on, Mark. You can't do that to me.
That's hysterical that you didn't know. That's really cool.
I didn't know that because I was like, when you listen to the show, when you listen to the book, like you're listening with your headphones or you're listening to your car and they narrated by Marc Thompson, blah, blah, blah. And then when you get Thrawn in the beginning, because he does a quote, and not a quote, but he does a saying, and it's like, wow, I thought they got the voice actor. Great job, because that's what we listen to. That's the voice we love of Thrawn. If anybody has the voice, it's like, when Ahsoka came out, I was like, I hope they get the voice actor, Lars, because he kills it with Thrawn. Thrawn wouldn't be without that voice. Like, Thrawn is like a cool,
he's amazing.
Yeah. So when I saw that, and I was like, wow, they got Lars, and now you're telling me you do it, and you just did it 2 seconds ago. That's
That's pretty cool.
That's wow, Mark. And then Arlani, how did you get that story with her? Because you really didn't. You don't have a visual person. You don't have anything. So how do you come up with that kind of voice for Arlani?
So for that one, it was kind of an interesting story because when we way back when we did the 25th anniversary of Heir of the Empire, I was fascinated by the idea that the Empire was kind of xenophobic and against alien species. And I was playing around with the idea of the Chiss sounding, foreign or different than, the Empire, which is kind of, the high royal, English, kind of accents is what we affiliate with them. So I originally recorded a couple chapters of Thrawn kind of having almost like a Eastern European or kind of Germany accent. To try to kind of denote that, he's separate from the British Royal Imperial Empire or whatever. And we got a little ways through, and the director, Kevin Thompson, was like, I get what you're doing, and it's an interesting idea, but I think we need to lean more into the Sherlock Holmes kind of archetype of Thrawn, because he's so, brilliant and unraveling the mysteries and stuff. So then when we went back and did these new books, and we kind of get to meet more of the Chiss, I had that kind of left over in my brain and wanted to try that out. So I kind of gave Arlani, kind of this, hey, he's kind of to an American's ears or to maybe a Western European's ears, something that would sound a little bit foreign to kind of indicate that these are, aliens or whatever. And they liked it, and it kind of went through, and we kind of stuck with that. And then as the books went on, it got more difficult because Timothy was, I guess these were in some of the older books, but the idea that there's all these different houses in the Chiss Ascendancy. I don't know if you've listened to the Ascendancy ones, but then I was like, oh man, now I want to try to make the houses sound different. So I was trying to come up with different accents for different houses. And I kind of opened up a can of worms on myself. So it was fun.
That's amazing, Mark. Mark, you are a talent to this world of worlds. I don't know what's going on. That is so amazing. I love that. So my next question to you, Mark, is how did you get into voice acting? I know you said earlier that you're mimicking people, because I do that too. When I try to be Thrawn, when Thrawn says a line, I replay it and try to get his voice, but I'm like, I'm no Thrawn. I know. But yeah, how did you get into voice acting?
So I had a great, the long story is I had a great kind of theater department in my high school, and I had acting teachers and music teachers and kind of speech and debate coaches that really nurtured me and really kind of made me feel like I had enough ability that maybe I could give a go for this. And my mom kind of saw that early on, and she enrolled me in improv classes, in theater classes and singing classes outside of school. And so I had a lot of support growing up. And then I went to college to study acting. And then I think it was my sophomore year at college, there was this is before the internet, in the old days, they had a cork board. And there's just a ditto on our cork board that said, audition for this cartoon, call this phone number. And it was literally you call the phone number and they say, leave a cartoon voice on this answering machine. I was like, all right. So the cartoon was about vampires. So I left a voicemail saying, hello, I'd like to be in your cartoon. And it was like this, like kind of Igor, whatever. And that was enough to get me in the door. They called me back for a callback. And then that cartoon didn't go into production, but a new one went into production. It was called Daria. It was a spinoff of this cartoon Beavis and Butthead that was on MTV.
Oh yeah.
And I did a bunch of characters on that show. And then that kind of was off to the races, because like after that cartoon, that ran for a long time. I auditioned for another one through Backstage and got some other cartoons like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And it was one of these things where you just start getting handed around like, oh, you should meet so-and-so, or oh, you should, And so before I knew it, I was kind of specializing in voiceover. So I wasn't necessarily setting out to be a voiceover actor. I was just wanting to be an actor. And then it just kind of turned out that voiceover was something I could find work in.
Yeah, no, you do an amazing job, Mark. I don't know. Thank God you stuck with it.
Yeah, it's been fun. I've been very grateful.
Yeah, that's awesome, because I know you do Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And stuff like that. I never even noticed that. I was like, he does that? I couldn't even tell. Like, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
It really is. It really is. So my next question to you, Mark, is, so how did your journey start with Star Wars? Like, being a Star Wars voice actor, like, at the start. How did that become? Is it word of mouth? Because I know a lot, like you said, like, oh, we just got to start spreading around. I know a lot, like, when you talk to someone else talks. It's like, who you know, or something like that. You know what I mean?
Right. That one, I was lucky enough at one point to get an agent. And at one point, my agent called and said, hey, have you ever done an audiobook? And I was kind of like, like I was the kid in high school who, when you had to do a book report, I would like rent the movie instead of reading the book, because I was like, reading's boring. I don't want to do this. So, which now I'm paying for it. But I was kind of like, no, not really. And I was almost like trying to get out of it. And she was like, well, it was a Star Wars book. I thought you might be. I was like, wait, hold on. Whoa. Star Wars, what? Because I'm a lifelong Star Wars fan. So then I was like, yes, I would like to audition. And so they sent me the sides, which is kind of a couple pages of the script. And I like worked on that audition harder than any audition I had worked on up until that point. I was like praying about it. I was like, God, please let me get this. And I went in, and I think I kind of got the job because Kevin Thompson, who's this amazing director and producer, I think he kind of recognized that I was able to maybe emulate some of the voices and do some of the voices from the movies fairly well. But then, learning to actually tell the story and kind of narrate the book and make it engaging was something that I had never done before and I wasn't particularly good at. And so Kevin like really helped me a great deal to kind of learn that skill on the job as we went. But yeah, so I think that one I got because of my agent and that audition. And that was in like 2005, 2006. So we're coming up on almost 20 years. So it's pretty crazy.
And you look the same, Mark. You look the same. You haven't changed.
A little more gray in the beard, but yeah.
That's awesome. So when you are in, like you said earlier, you were practicing Thrawn's voice. Like, what is your favorite Thrawn book that you audioed, or ever Star Wars? I could even say Star Wars book.
Oh.
Like,
don't make me choose. Don't make me choose.
Like that, you can sit there, you can read it and hear. Like, that's incredible. Like, it's a really. I'm still geeking out that you do Thrawn's voice in the book.
Yeah. It's so hard to choose because honestly, I know people would expect me or feel like I'm supposed to say this, but like I genuinely love so many of the books, and like all the authors are so talented and they each bring something really unique and different to it. So it's super hard to choose. Like I think of the Thrawn ones, oh gosh, it's so hard. I don't know. Like I might say Heir to the Empire just because the one time I read a book for fun is I was in high school and I bought Heir to the Empire because I was like, I gotta find out what happens after Return of the Jedi. And then I kind of my laziness kicked in and I never finished. So I always felt like it was kind of, weird that, fast forward into the future, I got to like get paid to finish that book or, but I really like Alliances because I loved, I think it's called Alliance, with Thrawn and Vader working together.
Yes.
I thought that was really cool. But they're all so great. And then I'm a big, like, in terms of Star Wars in general, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and the Jedi are kind of the thing that I get most excited about. So I'm really loving that I get to narrate a bunch of the High Republic books, and like, those are super amazing. And then a while ago, there was a book called Dark Disciple that I really enjoyed that Christy Golden wrote, and I love doing that. But these books, the High Republic books, have been so amazing, and just they kind of talk about how different Jedi maybe view the Force in different ways, and it's almost like they have different metaphors for the Force. And,
like Ava Chris, she's my favorite. Ava, I think.
Yeah, so great. Yeah,
with music and stuff like that. I'm like,
yes. Oh, yeah, I love that, and it's just, and it makes so getting to see them. Yeah, I love it. Those are probably my favorite as a fan and narrator, is just getting to see that, and all the stuff with Marc Rowe and the Nile, and it's just I just feel like they're so well written, and the story is so engaging. I'm loving it. So,
and you know what's awesome, that we both saw The Acolyte. We only saw one Jedi from the High Republic era in that show.
Yeah,
and it's so awesome to see, like, reading in them in the book and you voicing them, and you have no idea like who's gonna be their actors, be their voice actors, whatever they're gonna do with the High Republic. Like, it's amazing because you're reading their story, and it's so sad that you can't like do it. I love that. You know what I mean? Like, I wish you could do it like one of the characters or one of the Jedi or voicing,
I would love it. Yeah.
And I'm like, just bring in Marc Thompson. Just let him do all the voices. Put a wig on him, be Avar Chris,
Oh, no, we don't want to do that.
He's down,
Yeah.
But that's amazing that you get to see that.
I will
story.
say that, like, I was talking about how, as a kid, I didn't enjoy reading, but I've come to understand, like, this is why books are amazing, is that they get, a lot of the audiobooks are like sometimes like 10, 12, 15 hours long. Yeah. And so, that's longer than a TV series. That's longer than a movie, or a trilogy of movies. So, like, in one book, you get to explore so much more about those characters and kind of get into their inner monologues and their thoughts, and like really pay more attention to details in the story. And like, so it is like, I've really come to love, reading. Now I'm like, this is why people like reading, but it's like, obviously it's so fun to see it in live action, and the special effects and the music. And there's so much that live action can do that books can't. But one of the things that books can do that live action can't is just the time they can take really unraveling the story, and the depth that they can go into in terms of characters' motivations and detail. And it's just, so it's really awesome, and so it's maybe another reason to, like, for maybe if anyone that's listening that hasn't checked out the books, like, it's really a great way to enjoy Star Wars on an even deeper level, so.
It is. And I think when I was little, I'm not old, guys. Don't put in the comments I'm old. I'm not old. You're old, people. You're old. But when I was back in like grammar school, elementary, middle school, like, we didn't have audiobooks. Like, we didn't have that, So we're reading it, like, I'm reading it to my grandmother, or my grandma's reading it to me, or mother, father, you know what I mean? So now, like, when Audible came out and you hear the voice, it's like it's more, I feel like I'm going to say that, like, more better. I know that's not a word, but more better for me to sit there with my headphones, or just my phone, and play the audio book, because you can hear it. And what Star Wars, and even other audiobooks, like, they put music in the back. You're reading it, you're hearing like ships flying through. You're hearing guns fire, you're hearing everything, and Dark Disciple is one of my favorite books.
Oh, great. Okay,
Because
yeah.
I love Azad's Ventress. I love
Yes, yes.
And Quinlan Voss, to see that dynamic, because when she came back in Bad Batch, everybody was like, whoa.
Right.
Why is she back and she has hair? I'm like, maybe she grew a couple hairs, maybe she put a little hair cream.
Right.
Leave Azad alone. But to see her story with Quinlan Voss and how she changed, and now you understand her more as a character going into the Bad Batch and how she's not mean. She was like mean in the Clone Wars a little. She was like,
right.
Like, leave me alone. I'm here to battle and stuff like that. Like, be a little bitchy, I could say.
Yeah.
And now you see her in the Bad Batch, and it's like, a very mature Azad. A very like, I'm ready to work. If you don't want to, I don't want to hurt you. Like, but I might have to if it gets to that point.
Yeah.
So how is recording that, getting into Azad's Ventress's mind, and even Quinlan Voss, because when again, I thought that was the voice actor doing Quinlan Voss's voice, but it's Marc. Okay, Marc. But yeah, like, how is it like getting into like Azad's? Because Azad's Ventress is a very complicated character, I can say.
Yeah, it was really interesting because sometimes my kids will make fun of me for this, but like I'm kind of like I definitely more identify with the heroes and the good guys, and I'm always like trying to be like as good as I can be or whatever. And I did feel like getting to know her through the book, it didn't justify her actions, but it made you understand her actions.
Yes.
And it made you kind of understand how someone could get led down that path. And then to kind of see Quinlan start to crack through that and maybe see her slowly discover, some admirable qualities, in another way of doing it. And then the light side of the Force was really powerful, and just their relationship. Like, I feel like that was one of the first times that I got a little choked up in the recording booth when I was performing it. Like, that was one of the first times that I can remember where I started to, cry a little bit, when
Marc,
she.
Come here, I'll hug you, Marc. Come on.
Cool. But it was, and that's a testament to just Christie's writing and just how much she really made you feel for those characters. Because I would never imagine getting that worked up over Asajj Ventress. I was like, like, she's the bad guy, like she, let her die, and then to when we thought she had passed, to get that attached was really a special memory, and I really love recording that book. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I love reading that book. It's one of my favorite books, actually.
It's great. It's really
it is, and it's such emotion. Like, it's like, don't make me do it. Don't make me cry. I don't want to cry.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. It really is. So, Marc, when you go into the studio, how long does it take you to record a book? Because I know you're not sitting in that studio for 15 hours like the book, or 12 hours. I hope they're not letting you sit in there without food and water. God, I would bring you some food.
Yeah, I mean, it's intense because basically what happens is we'll start at like 10 in the morning and we'll go to like 5 or 6 at night. And that happens usually for 5 days. It's usually Monday through Friday, 10 to 6. And then, you get bathroom breaks and lunch and whatever. So, but then it's like, read. So, and the reason it takes that long. You don't get this
cookie, Marc. You don't get this cookie.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, the reason it takes that long is because, I'm making mistakes. I'm reading lines as the wrong character. I'm inverting sentences, and so like it takes a lot longer to record than when they edit it all down and get it to where it needs to be. So and you will sometimes you'll get into a rhythm, but like I find for me personally, on the first couple of days of recording, I'm like starting and stopping a lot more often, and I'm trying to kind of listen to my samples of like, what's that character's voice again, and so. And then kind of as it goes on, you start to get more in a rhythm and it starts to flow a little bit more. But there's a lot of flubs and mess ups, and yeah, so it's intense.
I wish I was there just listening to it. Like, oh, look at Mark killing it. He's in the studio. I wish I was there, but I'm not Mark. Maybe one day I'll just pop into like the ceiling and try to get there. Mark,
Right.
I'm here. But that's good though. That's good that they like it takes your time and it's only 5. Now after those 5 days, you go again, or 5 days it's gonna be done.
No, we'll finish, and then it goes to quality control, and they will kind of take it and listen back. And well, actually, first step is it'll go to one of the editors, which is usually Justin or Paul, and they are kind of editing down. And sometimes we'll do like multiple takes of a scene because I'll be like, oh, I didn't get the emotion right on that or whatever. So the director and the editors are kind of finding out which takes do they want, and then they get it edited to the script. So they're making sure that like everything is kind of word perfect and kind of I'm saying what's actually on the page. And then they edit it. And then if there's any mistakes where I totally misread something or, mispronounced a word, they'll call me in like a week or two later and we'll kind of do some fixes for that, and those are just kind of, you go in and do it. And then they have to like, Kevin Thompson does such an amazing job, like you were talking about earlier, with all the music and sound effects. So him and Paul Goodrich are, they've just done this for so long and they work so well together. But they put in like if a ship is passing by, it like passes from the right speaker to the left speaker, and they do like the blasters and the lightsabers and the music and sometimes if I do a droid voice, they might put like a mechanical filter on that voice to make it sound more robotic, or that it's coming from a speaker, and or if there's someone in a cockpit and they're speaking to someone else, they'll do the cockpit filter, and so they've got all these tricks and things that they do, and so then that takes several weeks, maybe even like a month, and then eventually it's ready to go out to the public. But it's a pretty long process to get it all produced.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then you get to read the book first. That's rude.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So my next question, Mark, to you is your top 3 favorite Star Wars characters and why?
Oh, wow. Okay. 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 Oh, this is hard. All right, I'll go with the first 3 that popped in my head. Number 3 is Luke, just because I love kind of his struggle to try to find what the right thing to do is, and to try to, accept the call to adventure, and just growing up with him. There's all the nostalgia stuff. Number 2, the one that popped in my head, is Obi-Wan, just because of the courage it took to come back from the defeat, of Anakin, and just what a noble Jedi he was, and just like just watching him in the originals, but then in the prequel, and just getting to know him. And then my all-time favorite, number 1, is Yoda, and I love Yoda. I think that like I love the idea that you can't judge a book by its cover, and just what you assume he is when you first see him and what he really is something different. I love the lessons that he teaches about really doing something, and that like not if you doubt that how doubt will color everything, and I love his reliance on the Force, and that it's that size matters not. It's not about you. It's about this greater power that you can tap into, and so yeah, I love Yoda. Yoda's my all-time favorite. I have a Yoda collection of like tons of little Yodas.
Do you have the slideshow one, the Clone Wars Yoda, the hot toy? I think it's this one.
I do not. Well, I have oh no, I don't. That just came out, right?
Yeah, it came out maybe a couple months ago.
That's nice. Is it real hair on the back?
No, fake.
Oh, it's not plastic. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's plastic. The hood is like The
That looks
fabric.
nice, though. Wow.
It does. I have Anakin. I have, of course, Ahsoka, and then
Oh,
Yoda.
that's great. I'm
They
very
just
jealous.
came out with like Cad Bane and everything too.
Oh,
Cad
yeah,
Bane.
that's very cool.
I
I have the Hot Toys one from I guess Attack of the Clones, like it's like he's posable and he has the
with
wire.
the lightning.
Yeah.
The lightning, and then they just I don't know if you saw, but Iron Studios is coming out with him versus Palpatine in Revenge of the Sith. That statue, that moment. Yeah,
Really?
I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you.
Oh, I've not seen that. Oh,
yeah, they just announced that one
too, though, right?
I don't know because they haven't opened pre-orders. I don't think yet.
Okay.
Like I think they open pre-orders maybe for their website, but not for like the general public, like big toy.
Oh, I got
store,
that cool.
Stuff like that. But yeah, that's coming, which is awesome. Ooh. Now I'm gonna ask you: do you have any Thrawn collectibles? Because Thrawn, do you have the one that Thrawn sits on the throne?
No, it's on my wish list. That is something I would like to get. Yeah. The only Thrawn collectibles I have are I've got a Thrawn Funko, and I used to have, I think I still have the kind of 50th anniversary action figure, just the Hasbro one. And then there's this amazing artist named Krista who does these like stained glass window Thrawns. And she made me one and gave it to me at a convention, but it's like a stained. I have a couple of them, but they're like stained glass Thrawns, and like I haven't. I'm moving soon, and I can't wait to put it up in my house when I move. But they are gorgeous, and they're but it's like handcrafted stained glass. It's really beautiful. Yeah.
Now, did you ever get your hands on? Because I sent you I tagged you in the Thrawn ones, the glitter one or the diamond one. Did you ever see that or get that one?
No. Well, I think I saw it when you tagged it, but I still haven't found one or seen one. No. Yeah.
It's on my way to get it, so don't worry.
Yeah. Are you really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Funko selling those, or like do you have to like? Are these
so
like
Funko?
Only
so the Funko is selling the con ones, like with the sticker for $15. But I think the diamond one was only at the con.
Okay.
So you're gonna get resell like for hundreds of dollars and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but it's
There's certain ones I just have to give up on. Like, all right, I guess I'm not gonna get that one.
Yeah, like I try to collect all the Thrawn ones because Thrawn is like hard to find, really. Like even the one with the New York, was it New York Comic Con? That the sticker? Yeah, I think that was his first ever. I think it was New York Comic Con. Maybe.
Yeah, that one I think is like going for hundreds of dollars.
Yes, I have it. I have that.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
I have it. I have all the Thrawn ones. I have a Thrawn signed one that I'm standing at right now. That the one from Ahsoka, the one they came out with the gun.
Yeah, that's the one I have.
I really wanted the Thrawn. I really wanted them to make him on the throne, like him just sitting there on his throne and his little animal thing, his little lizard. I hope Fungo, if you're listening, Marc Thompson's right here, the voice of Thrawn.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
that would
the voice,
be cool.
because I didn't know that. I didn't know he voiced him in the books. I thought he just narrated. But it's all right. But yeah, like Fungo needs to come out with that because it's amazing. What else?
That would be pretty great.
They came out with a couple statues of the Ahsoka one. Thrawn.
Yeah.
They came out with Hot Toys. I don't know if you saw that from Slideshow, the Hot Toys one.
Yeah, I'm kind of tempted to get that one now because I love the light up hologram of the Chimera. Yeah.
Cool. That's really cool. Mark, we're just geeking out at this point. That's it.
I know. Sorry.
At this point. So, Mark, I don't know if you can do it for me, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Can you do like the voice of Thrawn? Can you just do a sentence for me? Just if you can. If you can't,
sure.
That's okay.
Yeah. May warrior's fortune smile upon your efforts.
That's Mark.
Did that come through?
Yeah, it did. I don't know what you said, but that came through. I heard it.
Okay, good.
That's amazing, Mark. That you have to do a lot of studying.
Yeah.
That's really awesome to do. That's really awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
It is. Now, what is your favorite voice to do? Who is your favorite character that you voice. Maybe not. Maybe you have voiced them. Maybe you have not, or you want, or you wish to voice them one day. Stuff like that.
I don't know. Like I sometimes will say Yoda just because of the whole nostalgia and what he means to me. So like it's fun to go like, do or do not. There is no try. And then, you know, lately though, with the High Republic books, the main villain in those books is called Marchion Ro. Yes. And he's this like really like kind of super cold and like unpredictable, erratic, and it's kind of this like voice. He's like, Kasiv, don't forget your hand. And he's very soft spoken, but then he'll like lash out and scream and like, you know, like he'll like kind of lose his temper, and he's just he's super fun to do because he's very kind of, you know, creepy and eerie.
He is. He's a cool character, though. I hope they explore more with him with the upcoming.
I would love them to do more with him, yeah.
Because then we can find out like what happens with the High Republic Jedi. You know, going into the Acolyte. You know, circle it around.
Yeah.
So I think my final question to you is, Mark. So if anybody out there is listening and wants to be a voice actor, because I want to be a voice actor, but I just don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
So anybody out there like me, I'm listening, but I'm here with you. Any advice to them, like trying to start something? How could they start? Where do they begin?
Sure.
What is like?
Yeah.
From the bottom, now we hear.
What I generally tell people is focus first on the acting part instead of the voice part, because a lot of times people hear voice acting and they make it all about you know, I can do a cool voice, or I can do this character, you know, and that's very good, and it's definitely a part of it. But what will really make you stand out and competitive is if you really learn about acting and how to interpret a script and how to convey emotions, and, you know, so I would take any kind of improv and acting class you can take. And then as far as like actually getting into the industry, like it's super challenging because on the one hand, it's like the internet and everything being online has kind of opened up the door to a lot of people, but then it also has like, you know, exponentially increased the number of people you have to compete against, and you know, the number of people that casting directors have to wade through to find you. And, you know, so I guess just be aware that it's very, very challenging to break into. But if it's something you're really passionate about and you want to go for it, D. Bradley Baker actually has a website called iwannabeavoiceactor.com. And it's the most thorough breakdown I've ever seen of like, here's the equipment you could start off with. Here's how to soundproof, you know, a closet or get a booth going. Here's what should be on a demo. Here's, you know, and that's like a really thorough breakdown of some steps you can take to get in there. So, so that would be my kind of general advice that I give to people. So
don't worry, we'll sit next to each other and be like hanging out and recording lines. Like,
yeah,
and like Chris, you know, we'll just hang out. You know, we got this.
Sounds good to me.
But Mark, before we go, where can everybody find you on the social medias, and where are you going to be next? Where can people meet you at? Because I need to meet you.
Oh yeah,
it's not coming around here until November, I think.
Yeah. I'm on Facebook. I'm just Marc Thompson. It's Mark with a C. And then on Instagram, I'm Captain Ehud _ Marc Thompson _ VO.
That's a lot.
Because I guess I had to make it difficult for people to find me. So, and then on X, I think I'm Captain Ehud. So I know I should switch everything to make it the same, but I don't want to pay to be verified and all these different things that you have to do that. So
I had to pay to get verified, Mark. I had to.
Yeah.
There's only one Scevoli out there, Mark. It's me.
Yeah. But I've got some stuff coming up. I'm going to be in Virginia Beach this weekend. I'm not sure when this is going to be out to people to listen to, but August 24th and 25th, I'm in Virginia Beach. In October, I'm going to be in Nashville at ICCC.
Yeah.
In November, I'm going to be at Rhode Island. So that'll be super fun. And yeah, I'm constantly, I've been doing a lot of conventions lately. So if people are interested in meeting me, I constantly post about it on my social stuff. So if you ever want to check me out, I'll be telling you where I'll be there. So, and I genuinely love meeting, people, especially Star Wars audiobook fans, just because I'm a big Star Wars fan as well. And so it's always fun to meet people that enjoy those books and can geek out about them. So
That's amazing, Mark. Mark,
yeah.
I love you, man. That's it.
Thanks, Chris. I really appreciate it. It was super fun talking with you.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate your time, your love for Star Wars, your love for Thrawn, because we know we're Thrawn big boys, Thrawn bad boys.
Yeah.
But guys, I will put all the links in the bio to follow Mark, and I will tell you, I posted on my story too where Mark will be, because I'm Mark's promoter now. I gotta. So if you're ever looking for a promoter, Mark, call me.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'll post you.
I really appreciate it.
But I'll tag him in. He's going to Virginia Beach. I think I'll post it right after I get done here. But Mark, thank you so much.
Oh yeah.
I appreciate you and your time. And guys, subscribe down below to the YouTube channel, The Scevoli Show. Now, Mark, I need you to end the show for me.
Okay.
So I could do the Thrawn voice, whatever voice you want to do, Yoda's voice, whatever, but Thrawn's voice.
Okay.
Anything Thrawn would close out with, and we'll see you guys next time on the Scevoli Show. Go ahead, Mark.
You've been listening to the Scevoli Show. By my estimation, this podcast is a work of art. May warrior's fortune smile upon your efforts.
Bye!
In my life, when you find people who need your help, you help them, no matter what.